Hey YouTube, welcome to my channel. I'm Nikki from Genic Fashions, and in this video I will be creating a puff sleeve shirt. So here's the shirt that I'll be creating in the video. I'll be walking you through all the steps required to make this shirt. If you like what you see on my channel and you want to see more like it, don't forget to press like, don't forget to subscribe. Enjoy the tutorial. In order to make my puff sleeve shirt, I'm going to be using this tie-dye fabric and some black accent pieces. To get started, I folded my fabric in half and then a half again, and it stretches in this direction. I'll be using a shirt that I already own as my pattern. This shirt does have puff sleeves, but I didn't pick it because of the puff sleeves. I could have used any other sleeved shirt that I have, but I'll be using this shirt because I do like the fit. I folded my shirt in half. So this is the fold line of the shirt, and I put it against the fold line of the fabric. And now I'll pin the shape of the shirt. I pinned the shape of the shirt here and here. That's where I'll be stitching, and I also drew where the armhole and the neck hole are. Now I can cut that shape. I cut the shape out with a 1-inch seam allowance going around. Now I can open this up by removing each pin, repinning the 2 top layers, and pinning the 2 bottom layers. And I do this so I can get symmetry. In order to create the sleeve, I folded my fabric, and so this is the fold line, and I drew the pattern of a sleeve with an exaggerated top. I pinned the shape of the sleeve and cut it out. To get the shape of the sleeve, I measured my forearm. So I want this sleeve to be a little bit less than a 3/4 sleeve. I got 9 inches here, and so I put 4.5 inches here. So half the length. And since this is doubled, I'll get my 9 inches. I did the same for the bicep, and I got 12.5 inches, and so I half that as well. And the length of the sleeve I want is from here to here. Now, in order to get the shape of the top of the sleeve, I looked at the shape of sleeves in general and I exaggerated it. A normal sleeve would be shaped like this. Instead of it going flat like this, I went ahead and I exaggerated it, and it's going to form the puff of the sleeve. In order to get the point at the shoulder, I'm going to cut a triangle here, and this will form the point. Now I'm going to take it to the machine and I'll stitch the sleeve here, and I'll also stitch this part that I cut in order to make the point. This is my sleeve, and the sleeve here is slightly bigger than the armhole, and this is on purpose so that I can create a gather which will create the puff sleeve look. In order to create that gather, I'm going to be doing a base stitch. Pulling on the string will create that gather for us. A base stitch is just the stitch that goes in and out of the fabric. So here I have the complete stitching that I'm going to be using to gather the fabric on one side of the sleeve, and I'm going to be doing the same on the other side of the sleeve. So I'm going to knot this thread so that when I'm working on gathering the fabric, the thread does not slide through the fabric. So now it's time to base stitch the other side. Notice that my shirt is inside out and my sleeve is right side out, and I haven't gathered the sleeve yet. I'm going to position the sleeve first. I'm going to stick the sleeve inside the armhole and match my seams together, right side to right side. Once I have that positioned at the underarm where the seams are, I'm going to pin that on. I'm now going to position the shoulder. So the seam at the shoulder will be positioned to the seam on the sleeve, and I'll pin that on. Now that we've pinned that on, I'm going to pull on the strings that we'll be using to create our gather until the sleeves and the holes are matching. So we want to make sure that they're the same size. Right now, the sleeve is slightly larger than the hole, so I'm creating that gather so that we can create that puff sleeve look. And I'm going to try to get that gather to fall more towards the top of the sleeve. Once the two match in size, I'm going to pin and sew the sleeve to the arm of the shirt. I just added the black cuff to one sleeve, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how I did that on the other sleeve. Here I have my black fabric, and I'm going to fold it on the wrong side and position it at the end of the sleeve. Once I have that positioned at the end of the sleeve, I'm going to pin it here and sew a straight line going down. So here it is, sewn at the seam. Now I'm going to fold it in half to make it double. Then I stick the sleeve into the cuff that I just created and match it up, seam to seam. Once I have that positioned, I pin the inside going around so that I can sew it. Now I'm ready to sew the cuff on.